Hi everyone. Today I'm going to share with you the story of Princess P. This is an original story written by myself. You may have heard this story before, but today I'll be sharing with you the story of Princess P from start to finish. Before we begin, please subscribe to support us in creating more quality stories like this. And don't forget to click on the bell icon to receive notifications about our new stories. Once upon a time, there was a little princess named P. She lived in a magical castle surrounded by tall trees and beautiful gardens. The princess had everything she could possibly want: beautiful clothes, delicious food, and many toys. But something was missing. The princess felt lonely. She didn't have anyone to play with because no one could get near the castle. Everyone was scared. Princess P's castle was under a curse. No one could enter the castle because they were afraid of the dragon that lived there. The dragon was huge and scary. Its scales were hard and sharp, and its breath was hot and smoky. One day, Princess P got tired of being alone and decided to find someone to play with. She put on her crown and walked out of the castle. She wanted to make friends with the birds, but they all flew away when they saw her. She tried to make friends with the rabbits, but they all ran away when they heard the dragon roar. The princess was very sad. She wanted to break the curse and have someone to play with. Then the princess sat down on a nearby tree stump and started crying. A little field mouse that was passing by saw the princess and asked, "Why are you crying?" The princess wiped her tears and said, "I want to play with someone, but everyone is scared of the dragon and no one wants to come near me." The little mouse said, "Don't worry, I'm not afraid of the dragon. Maybe I can help you break the curse." The princess was very happy to hear this and said, "Thank you, little mouse." The little mouse said, "Let's go and find some helpers. We'll need some strong animals to help us break the curse." So the little mouse ran off to find some helpers. Soon, a little squirrel joined them, and the mouse explained the situation. The squirrel said, "I'm not afraid of the dragon. Maybe I can distract it with my acorns." Then a little rabbit hopped over, and the mouse explained the situation again. The rabbit said, "I'm not afraid of the dragon either. I can distract it with my carrots." Finally, a little lamb walked over, and the mouse explained the situation one more time. The lamb said, "I'm not afraid of the dragon. I can distract it with my wool." So the little mouse gathered all the animals, and they all went to the castle together. When the dragon saw all these animals coming towards it, he was very angry, and he started to roar loudly. The animals were very scared, but they kept walking towards the dragon. When the dragon opened his big mouth to breathe fire, the little squirrel threw an acorn into his mouth. The dragon swallowed the acorn and closed his mouth. Then the little rabbit threw a carrot into his mouth. The dragon swallowed the carrot and closed his mouth. Next, the little lamb threw a piece of wool into his mouth. The dragon swallowed the wool and closed his mouth. While the dragon was distracted, the little mouse ran up to him and whispered in his ear, "If you let the princess be your friend, I promise she won't tell anyone about your dragon's den." The dragon thought for a moment. He didn't want anyone to know about his dragon's den, so he agreed to let the princess be his friend, and so the curse was broken. From that day on, the princess was never lonely again. She played with the dragon every day. They would have tea parties, and the dragon would tell her stories about his adventures. The princess loved her new friend, and she was very grateful to the little mouse for helping her break the curse. The little mouse was very proud of himself. He had helped the princess and the dragon become friends. He knew that this would bring happiness to the kingdom. All the animals cheered for the little mouse and celebrated with him. The end. Now let's discuss some of the main points of this story. First, the princess was lonely because no one could get near her castle because of the dragon. The dragon was scary, but in reality, he was just misunderstood. Second, the little mouse was not afraid of the dragon. He was brave and kind. He wanted to help the princess. Third, the other animals were also brave. They helped to distract the dragon so that the little mouse could talk to him. Fourth, the princess was grateful for the dragon's friendship. She was no longer lonely, and she learned that it's important to be kind to everyone, even if they look scary. Fifth, the little mouse was a hero. He saved the princess and the dragon by helping them become friends. He showed that it's always worth trying to be kind to others. Now let's answer some questions about the story. What was the problem in the story? The princess was lonely because no one could get near her castle. Why couldn't anyone get near the castle? Because everyone was afraid of the dragon. Who was the main character in the story? The main character in the story was the princess. What was the name of the little mouse? Unfortunately, the story doesn't mention the mouse's name. How did the princess feel at the beginning of the story? The princess was sad and lonely. How did the princess feel at the end of the story? The princess was happy because she made a new friend. What lesson does this story teach us? This story teaches us to be kind to everyone and not to judge by appearances. Now it's time for some fun activities. Draw a picture of the princess and the dragon becoming friends. Write a different ending for the story. Imagine that the dragon wasn't interested in making friends. What would the princess do then? Take turns with your friends acting out different parts of the story. That's the end of our story time. I hope you enjoyed listening to the story. If you want to hear another story, please let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our future stories. Goodbye.